I can't believe the Democrats are still trying to defend wide open borders and illegal immigration. Apparently, they haven't gotten the memo that Donald Trump and the Republicans own this issue because the American people agree with a common sense approach. Secure borders, proper vetting, and mass deportations for illegal immigrants. But that's not going to stop Jasmine Crockett from pulling out the tired old Democrat talking points of racism, sexism, bigotry, homophobia, all of that stuff, okay? But of course, Wesley Hunt is going to put her in her place on all of this. But before we get these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we break through the algorithms. Here we go.
It's interesting that we're being accused of wanting all kinds of criminals to be on the streets, or that we don't believe that people should show up to their meetings and appointments. Last time I checked, there's a lot of people that are actually being grabbed as they are going in for their appointments. In fact, we know that one of the candidates that was recently running in this mayoral, he ended up being arrested because he decided that he was actually going to escort people that are actually showing up to their meetings. Or we know that the Pope, yes, the Pope himself decided that the church may need to have people that are going to escort people as they're going into their meetings, because the reality is that what they are claiming what they want to do versus what they're actually doing, the actions don't match up. And while we are supposed to be talking about visas, somehow we continue to cherry pick and talk about one criminal act and another criminal act. And it is so very interesting to me that, yes, we will say people are xenophobic, because when you start to decide that just because somebody came from another country, they are automatically some kind of criminal, that does sound kind of xenophobic to me, because you are using a paintbrush to paint an entire group of people where the vast majority of them are coming here because they are actually seeking a better life. But let me get to what this hearing is supposed to be about. The idea that Trump and my Republican colleagues want to restore integrity and security in the visa process is actually a joke. Let me be clear. Integrity is not snatching lawful visa holders off the streets and throwing them into unmarked vans. Integrity is not revoking visas based on social media posts that hurt somebody's little feelings.
Under the Biden administration, the United States was flooded with tens of millions of illegal immigrants that used dozens of visa programs to finesse their way into our great nation. In response to this invasion, President Trump signed an executive order simply returning immigration law back to the standards of July 19, 2021, which restores and enhances all screening of foreign nationals, especially those who are considered to be a high risk to this country. In order to secure the homeland, which was about 77 million Americans voted for, we must do more than just finish the wall, fund CBP, and support ICE's lawful deportation operations. We must also reform visa programs which have been used to usurp federal immigration law. We were told post 9/11 that we were going to fight in Afghanistan and that we had to fight in Iraq. And why? Because if we didn't fight the enemy there, then we're going to have to fight them here in our own country now. And now, because of the failures of the Democrat Party's policies, they are now in our homeland. And how do we know? Because 382 citizens who are matches on the terror watch list were encountered at the southern border, and 99 of those were released into the United States from 2001 through 2023. Unacceptable. The Democrat Party under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas, and numerous other dark money groups and NGOs made it their mission to flood this country with tens of millions of unvetted immigrants and people who wish to do us harm. Terrorists like Egyptian national Mohammed Sabri Solomon, who used a homemade flamethrower and Molotov cocktails in Boulder, Colorado, to attack pro-Israel demonstrators who were advocating for the release of hostages. This man, who was admitted into the U.S. in 2022 on a tourist visa and was then given work authorization in 2023 by, yes, you guessed it, the Biden administration, and had been posting pro-Muslim Brotherhood propaganda on his Facebook page for more than a decade. Disgusting. What the American public needs to understand and what we know is that 77 million people voted for exactly what President Trump is executing right now. The faux outrage from the left continues to ignore the damage that has been done to our country and people that are literally maiming our fellow Americans while we have done nothing and we stood by idly. We are now acting and behaving in a way that enforces the law. This is not xenophobia. This is the way and the process that it takes to enter a sovereign nation, and we at the federal government must protect that. I am somebody that has deployed all over the world. No other country operates this way. There is not a single country in the world that would allow 20 million people to enter their country illegally, and then when we do something about it, we then cry xenophobia. It would never happen. When I was stationed in Saudi Arabia, you had to have a diplomatic passport just to enter Saudi Arabian airspace. So the idea that we should at least speak to every single person that wants to enter our country is a novel idea because everybody else does it.
Every single thing that Representative Hunt just said there makes perfect sense if you're a rational human being, okay? Obviously, we want to vet individuals who are coming into this country. We have to make sure they have no violent criminal past and, of course, try to make sure they have no ill intentions for the future. But, of course, to Jasmine Crockett, if you're simply just rounding up people who came in here illegally, you're xenophobic, right? You're not allowed to do that, even though we just had a federal bust of Iranians running a human smuggling ring in California. Can we revoke their visas? Can we get them out of the country, Jasmine Crockett, or is that also xenophobic? But what if somebody who's here on a visa is actually out there organizing or promoting or participating in, say, riots on a college campus? Can we get rid of them? What if somebody who's here on a visa is actually, supporting Hamas or promoting the Muslim Brotherhood, as was mentioned by Wesley Hunt, right? Can we get rid of them? Can we revoke their visas? Is it wrong to do that, Jasmine? Of course not in her mind, because everybody should be welcome here in America, including the people that want to do us harm. And as Marco Rubio said, if you're here on a visa, then you're a guest in this nation and you should be on your best behavior. So if you choose to break that confidence because you don't want to simply study or get a job, and now you're going to go out there and be an activist and make demonstrations against the American people, well, guess what? You're gone as well. Can we do that, Jasmine Crockett? And of course, then she's going to harp about, oh, we're arresting people at their immigration hearings, okay? Because for years now, we had millions of people let into this country illegally, and they, of course, were all given immigration hearings, which, of course, will then determine whether or not they're allowed to stay in this country. Well, guess what? Under Donald Trump, every single person who entered illegally is up for deportation. So whether we're snatching them up on the streets or at Home Depot, in the jails, or at their court hearings, they're all up for grabs. And this, of course, is exactly what we voted for. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.